My snack of choice today is cheddar jack Cheez-Its. When a child goes missing, it's so hard for us moms not to picture our own children in that place. And this is one of the cases that have stuck with me for a while. We're almost on 4 years, I think, of 4 years of her being missing. Today we're talking about the disappearance of 5-year-old Summer Wells from Tennessee. And before we dive into theories, I want to go over the facts. I want to go over basically what is known, what isn't known, and just what doesn't feel right. In the summer of 2021, June 15th to be exact, Summer was outside with her grandmother and her mother, and she was helping them plant flowers. Summer's mother, her name's Candace, said that she walked Summer into the house because Summer wanted to go play downstairs in the basement. And she said that she did watch her go downstairs to go play in the basement. After that, she walked back out and was helping finish planting flowers. When she came back to check on Summer, it was only a few minutes later, Summer wasn't there. The 911 call came in about 6:30 p.m. Officers were there within minutes, and this was a full-blown search. There was helicopters, canines, there was divers, all of it. All they were trying to do was find one little barefoot girl. Summer, at the time of her disappearance, was only 5 years old. She was about 3 feet tall and about 40 pounds, with short blonde hair and blue eyes. She was homeschooled, so she wasn't seen regularly by teachers, by friends, and her home, where she did live, was very isolated. It was basically a steep driveway surrounded by woods with only a few houses on the road. Now, here's where things start to get strange. The search dogs that were present for the search picked up on Summer's scent for a short distance from the house, down a path, and then toward the nearby creek. But then it stopped. Her scent disappeared. And there are a few other reasons that her scent might just disappear like that. The heat that day was very high. Scent disappears in humidity. The terrain was rough. People have been walking all over the trail already, which can confuse the scent. But the other possibilities include if she went into water or if she was put into a vehicle and drove away in the vehicle. Basically, if somebody picked Summer up right off the ground, the dogs would lose her scent right on the piece of earth that she was picked up on. And that's all we know to this day. Now let's talk about the red flags from a mom's perspective. This is where my mom brain starts to overanalyze, and if you're a mom, you totally get it. We are just so hyper aware of everything going on, and we're just always going, what's going on? The parts that don't make sense, the gaps, and the things that just stick. The first to start off with is the few minutes timeline. Candace is Summer's mom, and she said she was outside for only a few minutes until she realized that Summer was gone. Across interviews, timelines have changed, and sometimes it's been 2 minutes, sometimes it's been closer to 20, 30. And that might not sound like a big deal, but when a child vanishes, every minute counts. The second red flag is the basement door. Summer was going to the basement to play. The thing is, Summer's bedroom was in that basement, which had an outside door that led directly out to the woods. That means somebody could have come up quietly, or Summer could have walked out there by herself. But it also means, from the mother's story, that was the last place she was seen. And it's not confirmed. There's no evidence that she made it inside the door. The Wells home was small, cluttered, and chaotic. If you haven't seen pictures, I'm going to attach them because when you see it, you'll see it. Now, we all live different lives, I get it, but there is just a different feeling that you get when it's a missing child and then you see the state of their home. Basically, the home is built into a hill. It's part trailer, and part of it was also built on. There was rumors of CPS cases, past CPS visits. The 3 sons that were in the home with Summer were also taken into CPS custody after Summer's disappearance. It doesn't prove any guilt, but it does raise questions, like what was life really like inside of those walls. Fourth red flag was the parents' interviews. And one thing that I always say is when you refer to your child in past tense, your brain knows something. And I just can't ever see, this is a highly debated topic. I can't ever see somebody using past tense for a missing child unless they know something. It's been shown over and over again in interviews, investigations, just any type of criminal act that has happened. The use of past tense means something. Don, who's Summer's dad, and Candace, who's Summer's mom, did interviews early on. They even went on the Dr. Phil show. And people immediately felt like something was off. Don used past tense. He would say, like, she was such a good little girl. The mom seemed distant and inconsistent, which we can't always just pinpoint somebody's grief, but you always got to look at every angle. Was it guilt? Was it trauma? Was it two parents who are in shock that aren't great on camera, which I kind of believe that one too. I'm leaning into that. We don't know, but the public noticed. And the ever-changing details, the story has just changed ever since it happened. Ever since Summer went missing, the story has changed. Especially the little swimming trip that they had with a teenage friend has shifted multiple times. And every time the story changes, people's trust fade more and more. The swimming trip that has been talked about is definitely one of the parts that I question the most. Basically, it was the teenage son's friend, not a teenage son, his friend, grandmother, and the mother, and then Summer. So it was Summer's mom, Summer's grandma, teenage friend of the brother, and Summer. They had to go run errands or somewhat and picked up some knee medication at Walgreens, and they stopped at a discount store and then went to the state park that was nearby for a swim. And that's the last place that anyone outside of that circle has seen Summer alive. Infamous truck video, the teenage boy made a TikTok-styled video the same day, and it shows Summer in the backseat after swimming, apparently sleeping. This video was posted before she went missing, and it was handed over to the police. But it has been heavily analyzed. People are wondering, does she look peacefully asleep or... Anyways, law enforcement said that there's never been any indication that there was anything criminal about the video. But it's eerie because it does remain as the one last visual of her. There was inconsistencies in the interviews about this trip, and that's another thing that raises a red flag, is like, who drove where? How do you not know that? What store did you go to? How do you not know that? I know that your brain gets foggy and just chaotic when something is happening, but how do you not know those specific small details? Another giant red flag I would say about this case is Summer's appearance. And this is also a heavily debated area of concern because Summer had her head shaved previously, and the mother said it was because she wanted to look like her brothers. Okay, now I understand that, but it's just alarming when it comes with the fact that she was homeschooled and there was CPS involved at some points. It just feels like another part of neglect, like you don't care how your child presents him or herself. It's been over 4 years and there's still no trace of Summer. No clothing, no remains, no anything. And no solid leads. Just a 5-year-old girl who just disappeared, which is every parent's worst nightmare. The TBI says that the case is still active and ongoing, and they've released an age-progressed photo of Summer, and I'll attach it here, of what she might look like today, around 9 years old. As a mom, this case is one of those that hit a place in you where logic just can't. Because even if you take away the theories, those being abduction, cover-up, an accident, you're left with this one horrifying fact. A little girl went missing from inside of her home in broad daylight with her mother just a few feet away. It makes you realize how fragile that feeling of safety really is. If you have any information about Summer Wells, please contact the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation or 1-800-TBI-FIND, so that's 1-800-TBI-FIND. And if you're a mom like me, always on alert, always feeling those intrusive what ifs, you're not crazy. You're just aware of how quickly life can change and how crazy the world is. What do you think? I want to know what your theories are. I definitely have my theory and what I think happened. I just feel like there was a lot of failures in this case as well. The fact that it's still ongoing is crazy. let me know if you have any recommendations for the next one, but I think I already have one that I saw on that new Hulu series, Interrogation Raw. Let me know what you think, and thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.